What is up, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here from the Back to 12 podcast. And do you want to know who's going to win March Madness 2022 and cut down the nets down in New Orleans on the final Monday of the year? Well, I can tell you right now, it's going to be one of these 9 teams. Well, as long as history repeats itself. Since 2002, every national champion has been top 45 in adjusted offense and top 20 in adjusted defense. And currently, right now, according to KenPom, there's only 9 teams that can say that they are that right now. Let's jump into those 9 teams as we start with the lowest one on adjusted defense, and that is the Razorbacks of the University of Arkansas, who come in right now as the adjusted offense rank of 39 and 16th on adjusted defense. They are very good on the offensive side when it comes to the pick and roll, but Eric Musselman has the athletes that can really switch on to anybody 1 through 5, except maybe their point guard who switches 1 through 4, but they are a ferocious and tenacious defense up there in Fayetteville. It would not shock me at all if we're talking about Eric Musselman and the Razorbacks down in New Orleans. Next up on the defensive side is Baylor. Baylor comes in as the 15th adjusted defensive team in the country, 9th offensively, and this should absolutely surprise no one. Even with a ton of injuries, including to their starting center, JTT, Scott Drew and crew are still one of the best teams in the country and tied Kansas for the Big 12 regular season title. Again, if you're asking me right now, I'm probably having Baylor down in New Orleans. They're probably second or third in terms of my favorite teams in terms of cutting down the nets down in New Orleans. We move out west to the Pac-12 now with the University of Arizona, and after everything that they've been through really the past couple years, it is awesome to see that historical program back to where they belong, and really they work to be there. It's a testament to those players and the coaching staff. They currently come in as the 14th best defense in the country according to KenPom, and listen, they're even better offensively as they rank as the 8th best team in adjusted offense. Would not shock me at all with all the athletes and the shooters they have from the outside if they are going down to New Orleans. But I will say this, the Pac-12 is loaded this year at the top with UCLA as well as Arizona. Look out for them. They need to be in the right bracket because I have a feeling that Arizona might slip up, but they have the talent to go down to New Orleans, no doubt about it. The team that I have absolutely no faith in these top 9 that statistically have a chance to win the national championship if you go by this stat of top 45 adjusted offense and top 20 adjusted defense is the Cougars of Houston, who, yes, they did make the Final Four last year, but their best win of the season this year in 2021-2022 is against SMU. That's not good enough. They have no quad 1 wins, but they are ranked as the 13th best adjusted offensive team and 13th best adjusted defense team. I just don't see it. I love Kelvin Sampson. I love what he's done down there at Houston, but they feel like a first round tournament exit or first round, second round, maybe first weekend team to go home. But I mean, hey, the metrics say that they need to be involved, so we're mentioning them here. Next, the University of Texas. They take Coach Beard from a conference foe in the university, well, Texas Tech University, I guess I should say. As you can tell with the helmet behind me, I did in fact go there. Not bitter at all because Coach Beard has done a tremendous job down at Texas, and Coach Mark Adams has done a great job at Texas Tech. But Texas Tech isn't on this list, and the University of Texas is. And why, you might ask? Because Coach Beard knows how to play defense, and he has some guys on that team that know how to play offense, whether that's Timmy Allen, Marcus Carr. They have athletes on that team. Courtney Ramey and Andrew Jones are really good shooters. They know how to play in March as well with a lot of experience. It's going to be interesting to see how that offense translates because early on, really in Shaka Smart's tenure, they've only really made one deep tournament run, not really even that deep. Does Coach Beard change that narrative? He has the team to do so, but I'm going to believe it when I see it. To the next team, it's UCLA. They're the 11th ranked defense according to KenPom and 15th on offense. Now, they were in the Final Four last year as well, and what Cronin has done out there in Westwood has just been phenomenal. Remember, they were in a playoff game last year in terms of a play-in game, up in Dayton and ended up going to the Final Four. I love what they have going out there for the Bruins. Interested to see where they go, but right now the metrics love them, and I tend to agree on this. The next team in terms of defensive rank is the Auburn Tigers, who come in as the 8th best defense in the country, according to KenPom, in the 23rd ranked offense. And now the thing that scares me about Bruce Pearl's club down in Auburn, they struggle to play on the road. Simple and plain. They have all the athletes to do it, including probably the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft in Jabari Smith. But when they're away from Auburn and away from home, they struggle. It's that simple. So if they can stay close to home, remember where the Final Four is. If they get going a little bit in the NCAA tournament, it's not too far from Alabama, and they could be playing with a lot of Auburn Tigers in the crowd down in New Orleans. Next up, in terms of the best defenses on here, and this is what I'm going by. I'm going from bottom to top in terms of the ranked adjusted defense-wise, who makes the cut with the offense as well. And next up is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. We know that they were the preseason favorites to win the national championship, right up there along with the Baylor Bears, and really they are the best team in college basketball in my opinion. They had a slip up against St. Mary's not too long ago, but they are the 6th ranked best defense in the country, the number 2 ranked adjusted offense according to KenPom, and feel like they have an All-American at really every position. They're the most confident team going into the tournament in my opinion because they've played a really good non-conference schedule, and don't sleep on the West Coast Conference this year. There's 4 really, really good teams, and one just outside of this really stat that we're going over right now in terms of the top 45 adjusted offense and top 20 defense that just missed the cut by literally one team on the adjusted offensive side. But Gonzaga is a very, very good team. Mark Few and crew up there with Chet Holmgren and Drew Timme. They're probably my favorites to cut down the nets right now down in New Orleans. And the last team to make the cut out of these 9 is Rick Barnes and the Tennessee Volunteers. Yes, they come in just under the cut line of adjusted offense at 44, and they are the 3rd ranked defense in the country according to KenPom. You saw what they can do against Arkansas, where they started that game 9 for 11 from deep. Are they going to do that every game? Hell no. But they have shooters on that team and just enough offense to really pair with that great defense that they can make a deep run into March. Do not count Rick Barnes and crew out up at Rocky Top in Knoxville. Really interested to see where they end up in the bracket, but they're one of my favorite under-the-radar teams in terms of that 4 or 5 seed where they end up, and who knows, maybe they end up as a 3 seed, and maybe they're not a surprise at all, but that defense is legit, and I think they can get really, really hot and make a run down to New Orleans. Now, what teams just narrowly missed the cut? I'll start with the one that literally just missed it by 1 spot, and that's San Francisco. I told you the West Coast Conference, it's probably the best it's been, well, maybe ever. As San Francisco comes in as the 18th ranked adjusted defense in the country and the 46th ranked offense. They narrowly miss it, and the other team that narrowly missed it was the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who is really just absolutely phenomenal on the defensive end. Everybody knows that with Mark Adams as their head coach. They are the number 1 ranked defense in the country this year at an 86.7 adjusted defense according to KenPom. It's just that offense which ranks 54th. Maybe the narrative changes going into the conference tournaments that they have, but right now those are the 9 teams that can win the national championship if you go by the stat that top-ranked offense in terms of top 45 and top 20 defense. Let me know down in the comments who you think will win the national championship. Call your shot before the conference tournaments even start and before the bracket even comes out. I want you to call your shot. I'll make another video next week about, hey, who's playing who, who's going where. But right now, according to KenPom, one of those 9 teams is going to win the national championship. You tell me who yours favorite down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, turn that red button gray and stay up to date on everything college basketball right here on the Back to 12 podcast.